Welcome to the session on. So, what we are going to discuss in this session is on what CISA is all about, and people will be aware as to who is the governing body. I don't want to waste time on that as to what is that. I'll give you a bit idea about it. CISA is Certified Information Systems Audit or Auditor. So, this predominantly looks for more on the information systems. You will be an information systems auditor after qualifying this course. So by writing the examination, clearing the examination doesn't make you a CISA. So you have to apply for this certification. You need 5 years of work experience in that. Obviously there is a exemption for maximum of 2.5 years based on the degree that you hold, but at least it would require 2.5 years of work experience. I mean purely work experience, not related to any other contractual agreement between it should be a pure employer and employee relationship between the organization. So that is all about as to what is expected from CISA. So priority is predominantly on passing the examination. So it is an objective based examination. You will have one question and four options, and one is the right answer. So there is 150 questions that is set once you start the examination. It is not going to change as to how you answer the previous question. I mean to say, it is not an aptitude based examination. So all the 150 questions are set, and you will see that a taskbar at the bottom from 1 to 150, where you can pick up any question and answer. It is a 4 hours examination, and it is at the end of the session you will know the exam results as to whether you have cleared or not cleared. But however, you will not know the scores at that moment. You will get an official mail from ISACA as to what is your score for each domain on to the percentage, what you have scored, and as the percentage, and as well as the scaled score. So scale score meaning it will range from 200 to 800, 200 meaning the very low score, 800 meaning the full score. So what you are expected is to score 450 as the pass mark, but however it is not expected domain wise. So overall, from domain 1 to 5 you are expected to score 450 in total, not domain wise. So that is fairly the introduction about CISA. So there are many materials, many videos that many of the authors or many of the people who have done across internet. So this session we will discuss as to what you are supposed to refer, what not to refer, because there are n number of materials that are available in the market as well. So what you are supposed to refer to, what not to refer to, how to go about, how to read a question is what we are going to discuss in this session. And fairly we will have around 10 mock questions, just to give you a flavor as to how the questions will be. You are not professionally trained at this moment. If people have just started getting introduced to CISA, probably you may not be trained enough to take the the objective based question. So it you might find it little difficult as well because you haven't learned the concept. So don't just get scared out of the question. This is just to give as to how the questions will be. Yeah. So first to go about, as I told, the governing body for CISA is ISACA, Information Systems Audit and Control Association. So they had been conducting CISA examination for quite a long time, and there had been frequent changes in the syllabus, and one is expected in coming August as well. But the change per se, it is not going to be a complete changeover to the syllabus that is going to happen in August. It is going to be change in certain topics and change in the weightage of the question. So considering the current trend, the last while where they revised is June 2019. So way back 5 years back they have updated the syllabus. Obviously current, considering the current scenarios and trends, it warrants change in the syllabus as well. So they have made it. Again, it is not going to be 100% change. Some kind of a changes, and some kind of changes in the weightage and number of questions that they are going to ask, because they now feel that security is taking the upper hand. So domain 5, which speaks more on security, has more number of questions, but the domain 1, 2, and 3 is more related to project management, GIT, where they have reduced the number of questions, which is fair enough considering the current trend as well. So that is on the change in syllabus. But at present, if you ask me, what is available is 27th edition, which is available and valid till August. So ISACA publishes two materials. One is on the study material, second thing is on the mock question. So these two are officially published by ISACA, which is the governing body. So these two are the primary source of material which you are going to use for the examination. Yeah, so the questions are from ISACA, so the best materials which they have published, and the material is as well too good to go about. These materials which you can purchase it online, which is available. So when you purchase it, it is available in both forms, either in a physical form or in soft copy. You can purchase it either ways. The materials are the same. There are slight changes on the questions when you purchase it from ISACA website, I mean the printed copy and the soft copy, slight kind of changes, but 90% both are the same. You can rely on both are equally good, both materials are equally good enough to take. So these two are the primary materials which you can go about. So if you are a person who is good on or warrants on a physical copy, go for a physical copy, unless otherwise, I mean, it is too much to strain to eye as well to keep on looking on the laptop and reading. So I would personally prefer going for a physical copy of book and the mock question. Yeah, so CISA review manual, people call it as CRM, is the official book that you have to refer to for studying. So which has 5 domains with 5 different weightages. So refer to ISACA CRM, which is primarily the basic document which you are to refer to. Second thing is on the mock question. Second thing is on the mock question, which is relating to, when I repeat, it is a mock question paper or mock question bank that you have, which is not the actual exam questions. Actual exam questions ISACA never publishes anywhere. You cannot find it in internet as well. Even if someone claims that it is actual exam question, it is fake. No, ISACA nowhere publishes the actual exam questions. And to go about the number of examination it happens, so ISACA conducts at least 4 examinations per day. Per day you have 4 slots. So imagine the number of slots they have around the year. Except for on public holidays and weekends, they conduct examinations across the year. So they cannot publish the actual questions, and as well they expect a level of a professionalism from the people who are attempting. So you are given a scenario and you are supposed to act as an auditor, right? So there is no point in memorizing concepts and writing in the examination. It is still not valid. After clearing the examination, you are going to be an auditor who are going to evaluate the documents of the organization. So that is a level of professionalism that is expected from each one of you, right? So these two are the primary materials which you are going to refer to. So read the CRM, after that practice the question. One big beauty of the question bank is that this is the only question bank that is available domain wise. So once you complete domain 1, I mean chapter 1, you can practice the questions related to chapter 1. Once you're done with chapter 2, you can practice chapter 2. The other materials or other question banks that you can refer to will have jumbled questions from 1 to 5 domain mixed all together. So when you can start practicing the question, only when you are thorough with chapter 1 to 5, only then you can start attempting the question to get a flavor as to how the questions will be. But this is the only question bank with proper justification, with good justification level as to why an answer is right, why an answer is wrong. So these two are the primary basic material. Never ignore these two materials at all. Then you can refer to one reference material. There are a lot of renowned authors, Hemang Doshi or Peter Gary, or there are a lot other materials as well that is available in Amazon, or you can go to Udemy courses as well with renowned authors. When you say renowned authors, look for proper questions and the justification. So justification is the cherry on the cake, that is more important, because it is not a question where you can answer Akcha A is right, B is right. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to know why an answer is right or wrong. That is more important. Unless otherwise you are clear with that, it is tough to crack the examination. There will be a learning on each of the question. You might go it will go to your muscle memory probably after you revise for n number of times. Okay, 10 question A is right, 11 question B is right, but don't go to that level. You need to justify every question as to why you have answered something right or wrong. I in fact tell my students, please document it, maintain a physical pen and paper, or maintain an Excel sheet as to why you have answered certain question right or wrong. Yeah, B is right, Okay, you are right, but are you right for the right justification? That is more important. You could have misunderstood the question but still would have gone right. The probability is there, so you need to understand, spend that time. Ashwini, should I spend this much time on single question? Yes, it is worth it, you have to spend. This is a journey, it is not like a fast food you cook it and eat it. Doesn't work that way. It is a journey for the next 3 or 4 months that you are going to explore on. Okay, so these two are the primary materials. So one reference material from any renowned author, but one material. Yeah, so don't confuse with too much materials. You are not going to submit any assignment or going to do a PhD with information security with CISA. CISA is not the right course if you are planning to do for a PhD. We are not going to refer n number of documents, foreign author, Indian author. Don't go for all these things. One author is enough, and that is enough to understand the concept. So what you're trying to grasp is on the concept. Sometimes the language you might find it comfortable with a different author. Good to go, please go for a renowned author. Otherwise, don't have some extra documents with you. So what not to refer is on the easy to go materials, where very easily YouTube materials, YouTube contents. Don't go for it unless otherwise you are not getting a clarity with ISACA material or with the reference material that you use. Don't go for any YouTube at all. This is going to confuse you. There are n number of YouTube channels which will give you on that. Probably for more quality or more kind of a clarity on the concept, you can refer to some kind of a YouTube video. Okay, otherwise my humble request, don't use YouTube or internet as the primary study material that you do. You can refer to when you revise, probably you can look for some crash courses or you can look for some videos which is going to help you in your revision after you're clear with the concept. But don't use those reference or revision videos as your primary source. That is not going to help you. I know that is easy to go. You can aramse sit in the sofa, look for these YouTube videos, hear it. Don't do that. That is not going to work out. Don't do that. Question and answer, there are, if you just go now Google with a CISA question bank, you can find 200 or 300 question banks that you have. So don't go for random materials, because what I feel is the same question will have multiple answers and multiple sources without any proper justification. This will literally confuse you. Stick to your trainer. Ask your proper trainer as to which document is going to be of a proper justification, because at the end of the day you need to know whether the answer is correct or wrong for right reasons. Unless otherwise you have the right reason, there is no purpose on practicing. You are wasting time, and it is going to divert you to the wrong file or wrong concept, which is not going to help you either in the examination or in our actual practice. Yeah, so I know certain people who will ask me, from this resource this is the right answer, from this resource this is the right answer, what you want to me to answer. So that is a level of materials that are available on internet. Don't go for it. Your trainer is your god, so believe on them. Yes, they will guide you to the right approach, and they have cleared with only with such kind of materials. How to prepare for the examination? Yeah, so this course is all about not intelligence, it is purely about hard work and consistency for a long time. That's where some people give up very easily, or they don't continue for a long time. Obviously people who are here are not just students who are just out of the degree. They are people who are experienced 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, different age group, different experiences. And that's the beauty of the course as well. The course doesn't have any prerequisite. Even if people are who are new to information systems, they can still do, if you are persistent, hardworking, and you are able to consistently prepare for the examination. Okay, so this course as such is not going to be a rocket science. You can understand even if you start from day one. You can take myself as an example. I am from a finance background, I have done it, you can also do. But the only thing you have to do, the consistent hard work, the urge to learn should be there throughout. That is more important. So you have two stages. One is on preparation, and a week before the examination, how you have to prepare yourself. Okay, so as I've given the background, this is all about using the material of ISACA as the base, and using their question bank as to the base there as well to practice the question. There is one mock test as well at the end of ISACA Q&A question bank, where it will have 150 questions. You can as well take an attempt on those. So these are the materials that you have. So I'm not going to tell you something which you are not already aware, probably just put in a slide. So just taking you to the flashback where you are being in the school days, right? The same kind of a setup that you are going to practice now as well. Other than that, nothing new in the slide as well. So what is there in have a proper study plan? Having a proper study plan, very easy. Take an Excel, put in all the borders, day wise, you will do. All those are very good. But what is the difficult part? Following it day in, day out. Why? One, this is not our priority. Somehow, people who are looking for a job change, all those things, looking for a career progression, or all those people are the primary people who are looking for this course. People doesn't come as to now I have just done my with my degree, I need this course to get into a job. No, people predominantly it is that's only 10 or 15%, but predominant of the people already have the job in hand. That is the enemy, because this is a course is not is going to improve the career for career growth for you, or you can explore more of the areas, but this is not your primary cake, right? That's the reason for lack of consistency here. Unless otherwise people are very much self motivated to do, they give up easily. 1 month down the line they will give up, okay, this course not for me. Yeah, don't do that. Have a proper study plan. When I say proper study plan, yes, you have to follow it day in day out. 1 hour of a study, yes, it is enough for starting. Probably you can increase with 1.5 hours. 1 hour daily, I guess everyone can steal that time from their daily schedule. So down the line, 3 or 4 months, you will be having a great learning asset on that. So have a proper study plan, and most importantly, stick to the plan. Start studying ISACA CRM to understand the concepts. Understanding or learning is more important. The knowledge is more important. Writing examination is just testing you on your knowledge. Okay, examination is one part of it, but gaining the knowledge is more important, which is going to be helping you in future. So do that. Develop your own study notes. That is more important. Don't rely on anyone's study note. Even if I am going to give my study notes for my students, don't use that. That is personally written for my benefit. You will have your own way of thought process, own way of writing. Prepare your own study notes. You will never know, it will do a miracle in your studies, because unless otherwise you write it in your own study notes, you will never understand the concept. I'll write in my different fashion. So please write during it. One, it will help you in your revision. Second, it will not dose you off during your preparation. Yeah. So sometimes start studying. You will not feel comfortable in reading. You will find very difficult to sit in one place and study. Experience that. That's okay. Eventually, you will get developed on it. So you are doing it. That's it. Come what may. So keep doing something consistently. Obviously, you will find a change. Refer to YouTube videos if you need more clarity. Don't ask me. Last slide you asked me. Don't refer to YouTube. Why you are asking me again now? Unless otherwise you need a clarity, what I told is don't use that as a primary source of material. Going to YouTube, domain 1 CISA videos, 2 hours, don't listen to that. That is not the how it is supposed to work. Please go for the traditional approach, pen and paper, writing your notes. That will alone help. So when you are in doubt, yeah, yes, CRM is not helping me, reference material is not helping me, trainer is not giving clarity, I'll refer to Udemy, I'll refer to YouTube. Yes, must warranted. So that is at the fourth stage, not at the first stage. Okay. Once you complete a part of the domain, start attempting the practice questions from ISACA database. That will alone give you a grip. You keep on reading. Okay, unless otherwise you practice it, you will never know where do you stand. There are people who ask me just now, they ask me, right, when will I know that I am ready for the examination? I keep on reading. Yes, I know the concept, but still that fear is not going. Something is not pushing me to write the examination. What you need to do, you need to take mock test. When you take mock test 50%, okay, still fine. I am of a person who's acute 30% initially day one. That's okay, eventually improve 50, 60, 70, 80. Eventually while writing the examination is 90. So every round of practice is a learning. Please go through that individually. You can have a study group, but attempt it individually. Yeah, this will give you the grip as to should I go for the examination, where should I or when should I plan my examination. Yeah, there are people with two different mindset. One will say that I will register now, Ashwini, 6 months later only then I'll get the seriousness to study, go ahead with it. Other person will say that no, I don't want to know, do it now, I will prepare, eventually when I feel I'm ready I'll write it. Both are right. Okay, go for which suits you best. Okay, this is on the preparation stage. Okay, week before examination, this keep on doing. What is that mindset or normal time? People will ask how many hours of studies is required to write the examination. No, no hard and fast rule. Okay, people have prepared in 6 months, people have returned examination in 1 month, 2 months, depends on their level of knowledge and able to grasp the concept, right? Eventually, for a normal person, if you are able to prepare 1 to 1.5 hours in a day, 1.5 hours is too much for a day. Start with initially 1 hour per day. Probably after getting yourself trained, getting ready with the concept will take around 1.5 months. From there on, practice will take another 2 months later. So at least fairly it will take at least for me 4 months to prepare for the examination and then write the examination. That is fairly doable. I am speaking on writing the examination one time and clearing it one time. Okay, there is no second thought. So that's how fairly you need to prepare. Hours and all, I am not someone who go for it. Okay, today I'll feel like reading, I'll read even for 2 hours. Tomorrow I'll not feel like reading, I'll not study even for 15 minutes. Yeah, so you need to plan your day accordingly. Ensure that within a week you are able to complete what you have planned for the week. Yeah, so a week before examination, that anxiety, heartbeat going up, all this will be there, the anxiety will be there. You will be of a kind of a person who will get fever if there is an examination. That's okay, experience that. We are now well matured enough to handle it. So that's okay. Even if you feel that you are blank, you are not blank, you have gained knowledge bit by bit, drop by drop for the past 4 months, which will help you eventually. So what you have to approach to do during the preparation, you have documented, right, where you have went wrong, what is right. Yeah, eventually I told initially you will get only 30%, 70% will be wrong. 30% you are 100% clear here, look for that. Leave away that 30%. Don't practice again and again that 30%. 30% is clear. Throw away the 30 questions. Concentrate on the 70 questions where you're wrong. So that 70 questions will, you will eventually improve another 30 questions. Okay, so what you have gone right, you are clear 100% of the concept. Even if you, I wake up in between in the mid of the night, you will answer the concept right. Leave away that. Concentrate on your weak areas. That is more important. So do that. Look for wrong answers based on your practice. Check on your clarity for concept. Yes, please do that. Refer to your own study notes that you have developed during the preparation. Yeah, so please refer to it. That is a good document which will help you even in future. So at the day before examination, you cannot read 1,000 pages of document ISACA CRM. Yeah, you are not chitty robot to do that. You look for your revision notes. That alone will help you. Do not look for any new study material or practice questions at this moment. Extra materials, extra marks. No. Extra materials will put your confidence level low. So don't do that. Don't explore on anything a week before the examination. Okay, that is more important. Take mock test to see what is your level of preparation. That is more important. You need to do at least 10-15 days before the examination. Stop your preparation, start taking mock test. Only then you will know where do you stand. Okay, so that is on the preparation strategy. How to approach a question, so this is more important. So 150 questions are given, one question and four options are given to you. How to understand the question and read the question, that is a tricky one. So the anxiety level will be little high. You will feel little bit of a fear whether you will pass or not. Leave away that. You are here to gain the knowledge. So it is easy to say, I know it is difficult to practice. Eventually during when you have prepared for the examination, you will be there on the hot seat and you will be able to manage that anxiety better. Okay, so that is gained only by way of practice. Yeah, today you will not gain it, eventually you will gain it. Okay, so how you have to read the question, do all these steps diligently for each question. That's why you are given 4 hours for 150 questions, else they would have given 1 hour for 150 questions. You will be out of the examination. Spend that 4 hours of a time in the exam hall to prepare it. At least 3.5 hours, spend the time there. And then come out of the examination. Don't click and move away. Okay, you have spent $760, please spend that time. So first is have plain reading of the question, plain English reading. Whether you are able to read the question properly, read it. So that is more important to understand, to get a glimpse as to what the question is about. That fear will go off little bit. Okay, staring at the question, you will look like some alphabets are running around, right? So by plain reading of the question, now you will understand the concept or now understand the text as to what they have understood. Do that. Second thing, a little bit of anxiety level will come down. Find the domain from which the question is asked. This is more important because what you would have done, domain one read, domain 1 question practiced, domain 2 read, domain 2 question practiced. So but in the actual examination it is going to be mixed, and you, in any point in time you will not know from which domain the question is asked. So finalize on it. So you'll focus, okay, now the question is from domain 2, let's concentrate. Identify the stage of the question, that is more important. So for example, an audit, you have planning stage, documentation stage, execution stage, then on the final reporting stage. Which stage? Because the option will differ based on the stage of the question. If you are asking for final action, my answer will differ. If they are asking as to the execution of audit, the answer will differ. Look for the stage of the question. That is more important. The question is asked from whose point of view? The question is from auditor, question is from management, the question is from the user point of view. Understand that. Again, options will differ. Now, read the question again with the options. Now you will have better clarity. Now you have grasp some kind of a sense from the question. Now read the question with stopping or pausing at what moment where you need to strain. So now read the question again with the options. Now understand the concept, what they are trying to test from whose point of view. Now you will get the clarity. After the fifth or sixth step, you will get the clarity. Now, four twins are there, or four identical twins are there. So you have to attempt as to look for why the answer is wrong for each of the options. That is more important. Read the question. This question in the across the world, you wouldn't have seen this question. You are reading this question for the first time. Look for why the option is wrong. So this is where your study notes will help you as to the knowledge that you've gained for the last 2.5 3 months will help you as to eliminate on the wrong actions. Okay, this answer is wrong because of so and so reason. That understanding should be there. Then you finalize on two options. Then with the clarity that you have on the concepts, finalize on the two options, choose the best suited answer. This will hardly take it takes long time to tell, but if you are practiced or tuned your mind in such a manner, it will take hardly 1.5 minutes for each question, which is fairly doable for the 4 hours time. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to answer the question. We have some mock questions here as well. Try to attempt those questions as well with this concept. Even if you are clear not clear with the concept as well, I'll explain it to you during the session. Okay, thanks. We will have some more questions. Probably I'll try to put in little bit of a knowledge here, though I cannot take much on a time on explaining the concept. There are fairly 10 questions, so considering the time as well, I'll explain it to you even through the question. But this is how the mock questions will be. Which of the following is a primary objective of embedding an audit module while developing an online application system? To collect evidence while transactions are processed, to reduce requirements for periodic internal audit, to identify and report fraudulent transaction, to increase the efficiency of audit function. So to read the question, so plainly you read the question. First, they are asking about the primary objective. When they say primary objective, all others, all the four are objective, but they are looking for what is the first best benefit out of embedding an audit module while developing an online application. So embedding audit module is that you have an host application in the organization. You are embedding the audit module in the host application to gain some data. So, as an auditor, the purpose of installing an EAM is to collect evidences. So, there are various ways on collecting it. There are various audit tools which you will be learning as part of domain one. So, this is one such concept where collecting the evidence while the transactions are processed is the primary benefit of using an EAM. Okay, so A is the right answer here. Okay. Organization is moving the employees database from one platform to another. You are validating the employee database of the organization. Which of the following types of data validation editing checks is used to determine if a field contains data and not zeros or blanks? Check digit, existence check, completeness check, reasonableness check. Okay, so this question is speaking on the validation checks that you are supposed to do when you are introducing a new system, or where it is more related to domain 3 where we speak on system development life cycle. So what are the checks or controls that you should have in the system or the host application that you are installing? So these are one of the steps, and there are four stages, out of which this relates to data validation stage, where we introduce as to different controls. So check digit is to avoid transposition or transcription error, where you additionally insert a digit or a text or an alphabet, so that you ensure that there is no transcription or transposition error. Existence check, whether something is present or not. So reasonableness check whether it is on the reasonable occurrences. So for example, you look for your you look for considering an ATM. Okay, in the specific ATM there is around 1,000 withdrawals per day and 50 deposits that happen. One fine day, instead of 1,000 withdrawals, you have 5,000 withdrawals on that specific day. That is not a reasonable one, right? 1,000 where it can range from 800, 850, or it can go up to either 1,000, 1,500. So that is a reasonable limit within which it is supposed to operate. But when it exceeds the reasonableness limit, it means something that is not going as expected. So that is what is on the reasonableness check, something that deviates from the regular operations. So that is reasonableness check. Completeness check is something that is either having a data which is not supposed to have a zeros or blanks. For example, in the employee database, you have an employee number. Employee number cannot be zero, employee number cannot be blank as well. So that is ensuring that the data is complete. If in an employee database you have an employee number which is zero, it means the database is not complete. So that is what is called completeness check. So this is one of the validation check that you do. So you might not be completely clear with the concept. So at this point in time, don't try to attempt the question when you're not clear. So that's why you have to read the CRM, try to apply the concept. So in a CRM, it will say that completeness check will ensure this. So you will be given a scenario. It will not be a straightforward question. You are put in a scenario and you're supposed to take a decision out of it. Okay, so completeness check is the right answer here. Okay. There's one of the descriptive questions. So the questions sometimes will look very large. To put in, give some stories. Some stories will be unnecessary just to confuse you. But if you are more focused on the concept, probably you will be able to crack it. So during an audit, the IS auditor notices that IT department of the mid-sized organization has no separate risk management function, and the organization's operational risk document only contains a few broadly described types of the IT risk, which is the most appropriate recommendation at this situation. So create an IT risk environment, risk management department, and establish IT risk framework with the aid of external risk management experts. Use common industry standards aids to divide the existing risk documentation into several individual type of risk, which will be easy to handle. No recommendation is necessary because the current approach is appropriate for mid-sized organization. Establish a regular IT risk management meeting to identify and assess the risk and create a mitigation plan as to input for the organization's risk management. Some questions will be direct, some questions will be giving a scenario, and in some examinations it will not be bold, italics. I mean, all these things will not be available. But in some cases, in the recent past, I've seen that yes, they do give in caps and all. But sometimes doesn't mean that if they give in caps, that is a keyword. That need not necessarily be, probably to divert you as well. So be smart while attempting the question. Like this most primary and all, sometimes it is in bold, sometimes it is in capital. Okay, the question is from IS auditor point of view. As an IS auditor, you are supposed to give a recommendation to the management. So now you are auditing what? A mid-sized organization, not an MNC. It is a mid-sized organization. They don't have a proper risk management framework now as well, but there are certain risks which has to be detailedly analyzed. But what as an auditor you are supposed to do? Now we will go for the elimination. No recommendation is not necessary because the current approach is appropriate. No, it is not appropriate. You don't have a risk management at all, which is not good for an organization. That is not a healthy organization. Every organization should have a risk management department. But how, to what extent, might differ depending on the size of the organization. So you will eliminate C. A common industry standard aids for divide the existing risk documentation into several individual risks to the organization. Again, not the right approach, because different, even the organizations which is of similar industry might face different risk, might have different risk factors, might have different risk appetite level. So it will differ from organization to organization. The standard will look like the same, but for policy framework that you apply in the organization need not be the same across the board. So it might differ from industry to industry. You need not go for the common approach, again not the right approach. So eliminate B. So best is to create an IT management risk department and establish the IT risk framework. But how? You're not an MNC, you're not a high-tech environment, you are a mid-sized organization. You cannot afford for the cost, just to get the benefit of the risk management department. So your cost might exceed the benefit that you derive, so you cannot directly go for a risk department as well. So eliminating A as well, what you are left for is that you can have frequent meetings to analyze what is your current risk, how to mitigate that. That is fairly a midpoint, rather than going for no recommendation at all, rather than having to the extreme level where you have a risk management department. This is a mediocre solution that you will have, that will ensure or that will satisfy the current need. So go for a D. D is the right answer here. So this level of understanding, identifying here, most is not the right keyword. Mid-sized organization will be the keyword to eliminate A. So go for the right approach, take an informed decision. Okay, so D is the right answer here. Okay, some more question. After initial investigation, the IS auditor has reasons to believe that fraud may be present. The IS auditor should expand the activities to determine whether an investigation is warranted, report the matter to audit committee, report the possibility of fraud to management, consult with external legal counsel to determine the course of action to be taken. So here A is the correct answer. Why? We will eliminate one by one. So B is not the right answer, because the auditor will always be reporting to the senior management board of directors. They will never report to the audit committee. Audit committee is a person in between who will be coordinating the audit. Ultimately, auditors report to the management. Okay, then we can go for C, right? Report the possibility of fraud to management. So because auditor always report to management. Why not C? The keyword is as reasons to believe. Auditor has not finalized that there is a fraud. He has just a reasons to believe there is something fishy that is happening, is the thought of an auditor. But how you will evaluate that? By getting expanding the activities and see whether investigation is warranted. That is what he has to do before the final reporting. He has to see, he just have a reason, he just have the thought process, yes, there might be something has going wrong here. So he has only reasons to believe. That is a keyword. So reporting is the final stage. Don't do that. Consult with external legal counsel to determine the course of action to be taken. Normally the authority, auditor does not have the authority to go to legal counsel. Who has to go is the organization, or auditor has to report to management. Management has to take a decision as to whether they have to go to the legal counsel there or not. It is not a decision. Always remember, auditor is like a consultant. He has to recommend best practices to the management. It is up to the management to take the final decision or final call. Okay, so here A is the right answer. You have to read all the justification here and you have to get the right answer. Okay, just by understanding correct answer is A doesn't help you always. Moving to the next question. IS auditor discovers that potential material finding. The best course of action is to report the potential finding to business management and include in the audit report. Discuss the potential finding with audit committee. Increase the scope of audit. Perform additional testing. Okay. So the question is from auditor point of view. The question speaks on which is the potential material finding. When you say potential material finding here as well, he feels that there is a material finding, there is something fishy that is going on, so it is not finalized. So discovers a potential meaning it may or may not be. How he will know? Only by performing an additional testing. That is a next course of action. Final reporting will have increasing the scope of audit. No, not within the IS standards. You cannot increase the scope of audit. You have to work along with the audit charter. You cannot increase it. Report the finding to the business management and include is the final one. When you say that the finding is finalized and you do some additional testing and you still feel that there is a material impact, report. That is a final stage. But here they are asking about the potential material finding. You haven't still finalized. You have to do some additional testing to ensure that that is actually a material finding. Okay, so D is the right answer here. Okay, this question is on the asset principle from domain 3, which explains as to when you have to maintain the data integrity, what is that that you need to understand. So in that, atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. So atomicity will speak on either a transaction is completed or not at all. Consistency is on the data is synchronous, there is no lag in between. Isolation is every data is treated individually. There is no clubbing. There is no data to no data two data is processed together. That is isolation. Then durability is giving the final acknowledgement to the user. That is what is the ACID principle to maintain the integrity of data. So in that, so the question speaks on IS auditor is analyzing the audit log of database, find some transactions where partly executed and as a result of an error have not rolled back. Then what you are violating, which of the following transaction feature you are violating, whether it is consistency, isolation, durability or atomicity. So as I just explained, it is relating to atomicity principle. Either a transaction is completed or not for all. That is what we are speaking on, which is related to atomicity principle. So you need to understand the concept behind it to attempt this question. So you might feel a little difficult at this moment, but once you are ready with the concept, this is just applying that concept in this question. To optimize an organization's BCP, the IS auditor should recommend conducting a BIA, business impact analysis, in order to determine the business processes that generates the most financial value to the organization, therefore must be recovered first. The priority and order for recovery to ensure alignment with the organization's business strategy. The business process that must be recovered following the disaster to ensure organization's survival. Priorities and order of recovery which will ensure the greatest number of systems in a shorter time frame. This question is from domain 4, where we speak on business continuity planning, business impact analysis. Okay, C is the right answer here. So, not much financial value, not the right one. Business impact analysis, as the name it means. So, any process, if it is getting affected, because of which my business will get affected, my business will come to standstill. That is an important process. So, you prioritize the process. In an organization, you will have 300 to 500 processes. You cannot carry on all the 500 processes at the time of a disaster. What you will do, you will prioritize. Okay, out of 500, only these 200 processes are very critical. Unless otherwise I continue these 200 process, my business will not be continuing. I will lose my revenue. I have to incur, I have to sink in. So all these are the priorities which I need to consider. So you will identify the business process that must be recovered following a disaster to ensure organization's survival. C is the right answer here. So you need to understand what is BCP, you need to understand what is BIA, and under BIA what is the first step. That is what you are supposed to understand. So C is the right answer here. The most likely explanation for a successful social engineering attack is the computer make logical error, people make judgment error, computer knowledge of the attacker, technical sophistication of the attack method. So this question is from domain 5 on the attack techniques. So what is called as a social engineering attack? Many people already would have seen it on what is a social engineering attack. Social engineering attack is not actually an attack. It is the category of an attack. So under which, where in whatever attacks where you play with human mindset, you play with human thought process, then it is called as a social engineering attack. For example, phishing. For example, eavesdropping. Then on shoulder surfing, tailgating. All these are social engineering attack where you play or a trick human mindset. That is what is called as a social engineering attack. So here what you do, you play with people, which is called as people make judgmental error. So B is the right answer here. So you need to understand what is a social engineering attack to attack this question. So, as part of business continuity planning process, which of the following should be identified first in the BIA? Organization risk such as single point failure and infrastructure risk, threats to critical business process. What are the critical business process for ascertaining the priority for recovery? Resources required for resumption of business. So, whenever in questions where they ask what is the first step, what is the last step, try to rank the options based on the options that they have given. Sometimes the first option will not be the first step, but other options, first step is not available, then the second step will be the right answer, right? So when you have the first step, what is the next step, try to rank the options so that it will be easy to eliminate the options. So first, identifying the critical process, then understanding what is the threat, then understanding what is the risk, what are the resources required. So C is the right answer. Identifying the critical process is of high importance for BIA, that being the first step for BIA. During the audit of business continuity planning, IS auditor found that although all the departments were housed in the same building, each department had separate BCP. However, as an auditor recommended that BCP should be reconciled. What of the following areas should be reconciled first? Evacuation plan, recovery priorities, backup strategy, then on call tree. whatever you need to finalize as part of BCP reconciliation. Now, the question is from BCP. So, always on BCP, the first thing is on always to remember is human safety is of the higher priority. So, when you say human safety, people, when they see human safety, I mean, the human resources of the organization, they will answer it easily. But now they have the priority on the evacuation plan. So, when they say evacuation plan, yes, it relates to human resources of the organization. So, what needs to be reconciled first is on the option A, which is evacuation plan. So this is how you need to apply the concept. Is it very difficult? No. Is it very easy as well? No. You need to just prepare on the concept, try to apply it. So once you are clear with the concept, that will fear will move away. Yeah. Now randomly I've discussed only 10 questions. Out of that, even with people with no knowledge would have attempted it three or four right, or even five sometimes, right? With based on the experience that you have. So this is how it is. We have fairly spent around 15-20 minutes time on this questions, and you're able to grasp some concept, right? That is the beauty. So learn the concept. That is your superpower. So cracking the examination is the next step. You can crack the examination, you can crack the interview, all these things. But after that, you have to be in the ground performing this role. So think about that role and prepare eventually. Then you will be successful on it. Yeah. So that's it from my end. I guess fairly I've done justice as to give a fair idea as to where do you stand or what is the expectations.